Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Here today we continue with our series on Shalom Bayit with the book of the Mystery of Marriage by Rabbi Isaac Ginsburg. Last week we finished off talking about the importance of recognizing the soul root in our partner. This gives us a sense of oneness, that we belong together, and also it's important that when we identify the soul root, we also look if we both strive for the same ideals and the same goals in life. It's very important to see if a couple is going in the same direction. If you're dating somebody and each one wants different things from life, completely opposite directions, this is something to reconsider, because eventually when you get married, you realize you don't change anybody, things get worse. My mother always used to say, look very well what you don't like about your boyfriend, who is today my husband, because whatever you don't like now, once you're married, you're not gonna be able to sustain. So this oneness is also, it's something that we have to look in our past, in the present, and in the future. And it is thus what defines a truly predestined basharet couple. This is a couple that is really meant to be. They share a common soul root, their past, their common goals, their future, and always in the present remember their common origin, and they proceed towards their common goal. So this is something that is very, very important before we get married to look at. When people are dating, they should really look into the other person, if what they are striving for in life, their values, their priorities are similar to ours. If not, this is something we should reconsider, because eventually it's going to be a big problem. My rabbi in Bogota, Rabbi Yoshua Rosenfeld, before I got married, he said to us, it's when you look at a couple, they start here, and eventually in life each one goes on their own direction. It's more important to start here, but both are looking to the same place, and eventually the couple should end up together. And Torah is also compared as two faces that are looking in opposite directions, and the whole purpose of marriage is to be able to turn around and look at each other face to face. So today we're going to be talking about the power of imagination and the unrectified imagination. So to be a healthy human being, we have to have an imagination. We have to have things we're striving for, things we're looking for. I remember once I visited a lady in the hospital, and she was highly depressed. And I used to ask her, what do you like to do? And she would say, nothing. What are you expecting of life? Nothing. Do you like to go out into the street and feel the sun? No. She had no ideals. She had nothing to dream or look forward to. This is very sad. So imagination makes us see that a person has dreams, has ideals, has a power inside, is looking forward to something. And if it's in the right frame of mind, it is very healthy. But also imagination can be very dangerous, because we can have an unrectified imagination. Sadly, the world around us is feeding us and bombarding us with all these ideals of what is the perfect life. And when you fall into it, you have an unrectified imagination. For example, today, the ideal of a beautiful woman would be someone that is completely anorexic, very skinny, big lips, high cheekbones, the eyebrows have to come up to here, blonde, tall, and this is the ideal of beauty today. But really, this is unrectified, because this is what the world is showing us. This is what every poster in the street, this is the type of women we're looking at. And women are suffering tremendously from this, because they're dying of hunger, because they have to look like this, and they're going to the doctors and they're injecting things on their faces and doing crazy stuff to look like the model in the post and the billboard in the I-95. So this is an example of unrectified imagination. Also would be people who dream to be billionaires, and their whole life is thinking about being a billionaire. Yeah, very nice. I'm not saying that a person should not have a sense of wanting to achieve and grow and do more and live better. That's a healthy mentality. But once it becomes your obsession, then you're going to step on everybody and on everything just to get to where you have to go. And sometimes people don't even get to become that. And they live miserable lives because they're thinking about what they want and what they don't have instead of looking at what they have and being grateful for it. So this power of imagination is a two-sided coin. It has two sides. It can be very good and it can be very detrimental. There's things that are good for some people and things that are not good for some people. Not everybody can sit in a desk for 24 hours, and not everybody can be running around in the street for 24 hours. So there's things in life that need to be balanced out, and you have to see in your makeup what is good for you. But in reality, the Torah is a guideline to life, and it gives us universal truths, not only for me, but for you too, and for everybody as well. And in the Jewish life, family is number one. Everything revolves around family. Everything revolves about the Shabbat table and being with your family and raising your kids. And our whole preoccupation is chinuch, the raising of the children. It says a parent has to think about their children all day, and before they're even conceived, they have to be thinking about how they want to educate them. So this is something that is very important in Jewish life, and it's one of our priorities. And the Torah gives us a guideline, tells us how to bring up a beautiful family, what type of thoughts we have to have in our head to be able to do this, and what type of ways of acting with our children and our spouses are the right ways in which we have to behave as a married couple, as a parent, as a son or a daughter even. So here we see that the Torah is giving us guidelines in how to live fulfilling lives. It gives us priorities, in the straight priorities. It teaches us what's important in life and what is really not so important, and how to think, which is very important. We have to rectify the way we think and we perceive the world. And sadly, the world is completely the opposite of the true Torah values. And I see it in my own life with people I meet from every age, that they suffer from this. They suffer from ideas that are put into their heads of liberal-minded ideas that make things look like they're right, but in reality they're not. And the problem is that our souls are connected to God, and they're completely 100% in tune with godliness and holiness. So when the body and this animal soul are working against it, the body goes into a type of shock. It's like the blower. When you're overheating the blower just turns off. It's a mechanism of that protects the blower from not burning out. So the same way, when we're not aligned with the truths of the Torah, when we're not living a true life and we're just going around with the flow and what's going on around us, then our own body becomes like that blower. It just turns off, and there's like a short circuit in our brains. And then people start to suffer a lot from that because their priorities are upside down. So I leave you with this idea today. Digest it, think about it, and think how your values are running your life. What type of values you have? What are your ideals? What do you believe in? And if that's the truth, if it's taking you to a wholesome and a good place, or it's taking over your life and you're not the person you should be. So live a little higher,